Are you willing to trade everything? Food, drinking, water, safety. To survive 40 days in the wild. In the most devastating ordeal ever recorded. 12 people for teams play. I was thrown into one of those places. The toughest on the planet. The Orinoco River. Where nature doesn't allow any mistakes. Fire, no food, no forgiveness. It's not just a fight for survival. It's the ultimate test of bravery, trust, and human limits. Welcome to the challenge to survive 40 days of hell on Earth. Programs for people over 18 years old. If you are under 18, please do not watch. This is a survival challenge program. Extremely aggressive. It's a continuation of the challenge of survival. 21 days in the wilderness. This version lasts up to 40 days. There's still no food, no clothes. To survive together. 40 days in the environment, hardest in the world. In this 40-day challenge, there's no more starvation to get around. All the participants, they're all excellent players, from challenge seasons 21 days ago. A total of 12 people. They were divided into 4 small teams and challenged. In the Orinoco River Basin in eastern Colombia. The first team to appear was the South, including 9 sandal hunters, martial arts expert Hakim, and ex-soldier Ag. Their challenge site is the Devil's Cliff. It's a very difficult place to find water. However, the strength of the team cannot be underestimated. Sandals and Hakim met before hugging excitedly. And EG's eating some cactus along the way. And also quickly get to the gathering point. When the team is fully assembled, they're starting to find the right place to camp. Both BA walked for more than 2 hours under high temperature. No water source found. They decided to set up camp before they could find water. Recently, BA athletic men work very fast. They're going to build a camp of about 20 square meters. After 4 hours of cutting down trees, Hakim began to feel severely dehydrated, to the point of cramping, but still trying to work. EG ran away to find water for the group. But you're blocked by a thorn bush. Have to go back. 8 kilometers north of the Sandals is the second team. The women's team is made up of taxonomists, Eva mountaineering athlete, and emergency rescue specialist Jenny. Lavra and Eva quickly reunited. Take out carry tools. Lavra brought a fire kit. Eve was carrying an iron pot and a knife. They started looking for water. Danny was lost in the woods. I walked in the woods for a few hours. Still can't find a partner. I had to stay alone overnight. She used a mosquito net to build a shelter. I plan to continue the search tomorrow morning. 6 kilometers to the west is the third team, 2 men and 1 woman, including a therapist at Chris, fisherman and explorer on Aura. When Chris saw that his teammate was on Aura, I was worried, because last time she fainted and had to be taken to the emergency room. I'm afraid you'll pull the team behind. However, Honora confirmed this time, you're here to restore your former honor. The 3 quickly met successfully. And to the east 6 kilometers is the 4th team, 2 women and 1 man. They in turn are rancher Alana, medical staff Daniel, slug adventure sports athletes. From the beginning, 3 people had a disagreement about how to set up camp. Slugs wanted to build a high bed to rest, but Daniel thinks it's useless. Slug recalls 7 failures in the previous challenge. It's because they don't communicate well that conflict occurs. So this time I decided to be humble to keep the peace. Evening. They slept on the ground and were bitten by mosquitoes all night. In another corner of the forest, team member Donnie is sleeping alone for the night. There's a continuous roar of wild animals around. You can't sleep all night. The other 2 members of the women's team, but for lack of experience, they're going to use their bare hands to catch electric eels. As a result, they're opened up. When he was so startled that he screamed bitterly. The electric eel also took the opportunity to escape. Transplant and Egg standing next to giggle. AG says you can't play easy with an electric eel. Feel very 70 feet. So many people can't catch an eel. Lavra and Eva hadn't drunk a drop of water in 3 days. Then you know how to live. 10:30 a.m. Daniel and Alana went all night. It's finally close. At this point they see the members of the BA team female to male. Now the other 10 people have finally come together. The South Vietnamese team also saw them coming. Fortunately for the team, the female to male capital applied tactics, the more numerous the stronger. Today they decided to make a fire to boil water. Immediately invite two girls to join their group. Daniel and Alana immediately agree because that team doesn't have slugs. The men's team also through social greeting. Everybody sit together. The team members female to male immediately invite the male team to join the team. We can share tools and food, but sandals aren't that easy to seduce. He said to avoid conflict and disagreement. Because the water here can't be used directly. It is best to divide into two small teams, a flat rejection from the BA men's team. It makes the other side extremely uncomfortable. Started making all kinds of complaints. Eva said these three men. I'm really on my journey. Alana said she doesn't want to be around any day. There was also a slow bomb. Over here, three men from the men's team started building shelters. Last night everyone ate more than 2 pounds of protein. When Eva was using wood spinning to make a fire. So AI is also energetic today. But slugs are clearly not keeping up. The previous challenges drained me. I don't have the strength to do it now. In the evening, a group of 7 people sat around the fire. Suddenly I caught a small snake at my feet. This last. It helped me win my first victory. Now in large groups of people, the little snake is also meat. 7 people split a little each, accidentally broke the wooden stick. It is also called passing a meal. On the 27th day, a group of 7 people began to set up camp. But to save effort, some people choose the most efficient way. It's doing nothing. You just need to clear the foliage. I'm lazy and I pat myself. It's called fitness preservation. Take simplicity as a principle. Reduce labor to a minimum. The new environment made Daniel feel unfamiliar. She's going to replant a new tree to try again. Because you're a vegetarian. In this area, there's obviously less fruit than before. The other 6 are out looking for food. Take a group of people like a sweep. What you can eat is everything. Soon Lao Ra caught 2 lizards. But Jenny didn't see the point. You want to contribute something bigger to the team. You want to catch a big electric eel. To improve the meal. But an accident happened. So you left on your own. But the voluntary. Separating her group made some members not funny. 3 men are also setting up camp. I just cut down a tree. Screamed a loud voice full of energy. It's really inspiring. And the slugs are as bad as ever. I just picked up a few branches and felt drowned. She was cut a deep hole in her hand. Transplant is also very worried for the condition of slugs. The last few days together. I'm so grateful to have joined this team. So even though I'm tired, I am ready to give everything to the team. Every day water needs a lot of time. You even have to leave it to a professional. Please decide to find a way to solve the drinking water problem for the whole team. Cherry digging a well over 1 meter deep near the camp after the medical staff checked. And use soil to filter water. E.G. and Jeff saw that the well was extremely laudable. If the water in the well is drinkable immediately, then there's no need to lose the water heater. The problem now is determining whether the water is safe or not. The only way is to find someone to drink. Please volunteer to be a white rat. I thank you for taking care of me all this time. Be willing to sacrifice for the team. They think it's possible to stitch it up. Watch the hands bring water to drink. At night I don't feel any problem. He even raised his thumb with the camera. Thanks to this well, the strength of the male team increased significantly. Transplant and Egg also started drinking well water. Drink and thank the slug for his efforts. There's a team of 7 people using mosquito nets to catch fish in the water. I can see and laugh endlessly. But there's no anesthesia in the forest. You said they're a group that doesn't know what to do. I decided to show them what class is. Jeff's top hunter title. Not self-styled. A moment later, I caught a pretty big fish. This time I didn't shout for celebration. To avoid attracting wild animals. Meanwhile, fishing with nets doesn't work because the water is too cloudy. This trick here doesn't work at all. There's a risk of infection. Lavra spotted a snake in the tree. Everyone came immediately. A bunch of people hit the tree with sticks to chase the snake down. E.G. standing by laughing as if watching the play. Under the tree screaming for direction. But no one can climb up. Finally, everyone just blinks at the snake's escape. E.G. commented that they didn't know how to hunt at all. I don't know how they survived. Eva is forced to decide for herself or stay and stitch in place. At that moment came a loud scream of sandals. You caught a giant electric fish. His scream immediately attracted the crowd. Look into the eyes of these people. I'm starting to regret yelling. Now it's okay. Divided or not divided. The 7 Kier have absolutely no intention of leaving. All naked staring at the fish. Imagine how it will be eaten later. But no one cares that it's the work of AI. Or give up to go to the hospital. In order not to break my conscience. He agreed to share the meal with everyone. Everyone is so happy. There's only Daniel, the vegetarian, who's the 7. At night, everyone sits around the fire, eat fragrant grilled fish. It's soft and fat. Just put it in my mouth and it melts away. It's a real American. 30th day. She chose to continue competing and decided to sew herself. Alana went with Daniel to the river to find fruit. 2 people found dead on the ground. But he didn't come to ask Han for help. Instead, turn your back and walk away. This is the worst and most inhuman moment. Fortunately, he woke up and went back to camp. Alana, given that slugs do themselves. Too hard to work before. You've exhausted yourself so much. E.g. bearing give slugs a piece of fish. Stitching and grinding your teeth in pain. But the slug is so weak that it's extremely difficult to stand up. Now I just want to cry. I feel so unfair to my team. Because while people struggle to feed, I'm in a place where I eat what other people bring. You're not that person. I went to Ag and Rep. Thank you for accepting me and the team. And for taking care of you all this time. But now I don't want to be a burden. She said. So I decided to withdraw from the competition. Please leave quietly. G and Ag look under extremely heavy mood when they reported this to a group of 7 people. Alana seemed to have predicted it. You and Daniel keep saying nonsense. E.g. glanced furiously at the 2 who just shut up. The slug got in the car and went home. I don't regret it. Your mood is calm right now. Compared to physical pain. Even though he withdrew from the competition. But at least you're better than the lazy ones. And the parasite at least gave it his all. The challenge to day 31. And now it's all. Are entering full starvation mode. Egg brought the bow that Shin left outside. Hunting early in the morning. I hope Shin's bow has. It can bring a little luck. Giving up is even scarier. As we pass the camp of a group of 7. You can also say hello. But now I've also looked out. This is a bunch of lazy people. Just waiting to eat food that's extremely scarce. The group of 7 found only a few worms and spiders in the tree. Bring back roast on fire. But that's not enough to eat. For them, this is a survival strategy. Or pull the whole group out to eat. You need to pay special attention from now on. Or lie together waiting for fate. Johnny doesn't eat. She stood up and said she was going for a walk in the meadow, but the whole group thinks it's unsociable to leave the camp on your own. The girls began to hint at criticism. Even Chris thinks she's just being lazy and avoiding. You said this whole group. You have to work hard every day, 24/01 day, not dare to rest. Don't let the wound get infected. No one's allowed to be lazy here. But people think differently. You're in the program to train yourself, but everyone opens their eyes and go to bed together every day. So you feel very depressed. She just wanted to go for a walk to help her mood. More comfortable. I caught a lot of fish today. The group of 7 is still fishing underwater. Back to the women's team. They go to the slippers and ask for fish organs as bait, but you refused. Because you yourself need to use it as bait. Slippers for that. This society only does. Hard work is hard work. Only work can eat. The ones who don't want to eat shit. Make it easy. Everyone has to rely on themselves. After 3 hours of chopping down trees to make a bed. If you can't hunt, you can't get food. Then you should not enter this contest. From the beginning. I totally agree with that view. Meanwhile, the crowd is still scouring the forest. Lavra caught another lizard, but you said one was too few. Eva spotted a stingray in the water. This fish has venom in its tail. 2 female teammates just resting in the shack. If they get stabbed, they'll get swollen. High fever can even be fatal. Alana uses oblique ramming. But it didn't hit and fell into the water. It was Chris who finally caught it. They cleaned the fish and put it on the fire. At that moment EG came back and saw. I've never eaten this stingray before. I'd love to try the raw. But the group of 7 had no intention of sharing food to enjoy the cool. EG talk. Embarrassed for a while and then left. You said before rep and you invited them to eel. And now they're not sharing any of it. Back to camp. They also know that Kier has caught fish. But not share. You've shared electric eel meat twice before. In exchange for this result, you said the longer you're involved. Just looking at work. The more revealing each person's true self. Time to day 32. Danny got up to get some water. Chris immediately chased him to talk. I blame you for not putting more wood in the fire last night. He always leaves the team. If we continue this kind of segregated behavior, you should pack up and go. Donnie turned around and said, sorry, and so a collective struggle begins. But slugs don't complain about their teammates. Alana, new arrival a few days, volunteer opening. You said you haven't been here long, as you saw in the last few days. Donnie is always separate from everyone, Eva continued. Honestly, I don't trust you very much. Donnie's upcoming life will not be pleasant at all. Slipper decided to continue to go electric eel fishing. I've been looking closely before. Know where the electric eel comes out of the nest. I think that's what I should do. I know where it often shows up. He brought the big hook and started to act. I tied up the fishing line and waited for the electric eel to hook up. He found a dead squirrel in the forest. I'm not sure if you can eat it or not. Because rodents are at risk of carrying a pathogenic virus. You brought it back to camp. Chris looked over and said he could eat. They've been hungry for days. AI is no longer picky. He borrowed Alana's knife to continue his work. They baked it and ate it right away. It was delicious. But there's no Donnie in the group. And there's no one left for you. Donnie has now arrived at Jeff and AG's camp. She feels her style is more like this team. EG knew what Donnie was going through. I asked if you needed any help. Donnie said she came here for physical and willpower training, not to argue with others. I think Jenny was right. But unfortunately it's chipped. You should keep up the original spirit. However, since 2 of his team withdrew, I'm not going to take on new people. Jay said I'll be ready. Help when the time is right. I also said if Johnny needs you, you'll always be my rock. Donnie refused help. Thanks for the recognition. And cherish them and get up and leave. On the 33rd day, EG took the bow and arrow to find his prey, a spot on her blade. A 2-meter-long crocodile appears right in front of. He approached slowly shooting an arrow but failed to hit. It's a shame to lose a big meal. Z is still working on the plan. Electric eel catcher. The hook seems to hook into the tree's branches, but I still found traces of the eel. After 2 previous successful catches, you are now extremely proficient. He shoots the skewer right into the body of the electric eel. This makes Alana very upset. Call the egg for help. Get the attention of a team of 7. I've obviously caught the electric eel again. Chris rushed over to ask if he needed any help. It's only been a few days since the last stingray split, so this time the slippers flatly refused. You said no need, my friend. Chris asked the electric eel. The shoes are perfect, dear. Chris walked away angry. The atmosphere in the team started to get tense. I called and asked the group to come back. Because it is not nearby, EG has not come. Slippers have to handle themselves. He banged a few times on the electric eel. He was electrocuted a few times but still caught it. I shouted proudly. There is still a contradiction in my heart. Should we share this electric eel with them or not? Finally, kindness rises. I decided to share the meal. To calm the air, now everyone is happy. EG is finally back. I saw the electric eel endlessly praise the slippers. But unfortunately, it's too late. I believe if EG returned earlier, maybe things would have been different. Everyone grilled the meat. Electric eel has been processed on fire. It's another big party. In the afternoon, the girls went to the water to catch fish. Alana and Daniel start talking. Take a break to talk about your past. It's a mouth-to-mouth type. Alana thinks Shin has a psychological problem. Of antisocial personality type. That he should have been on the same team as Donnie. So you two can give up together. The poison was at the right time. I can hear you walking by. Heard every word. You've become a different person in everyone's eyes. She returned to camp in the evening. The slug has been hyperactive since childhood. You want to talk to the group. in exchange for more criticism. Chris repeats exactly what he said to Honora. You should give up. The sentence struck deep in Jenny's heart. She quietly left the camp alone. The slippers nearby heard the whole argument. Just breathing. Fortunately, I have nothing to do with this water. Time to day 34. Growing up in scenes no dad, no mom. Jenny confided. The way they treat you hurts. She said goodbye to EG and left. EG can only wish you luck. Another one was pushed away because of isolation. EG tells Johnny to retreat for the other 6. But everyone's indifferent. Without showing any emotion. Donnie has 7 hopes. She couldn't complete the 40-day challenge. He's rotated in foster homes. Even though the strength is still good. But mentally she was defeated by them. Time to day 37. It's been 4 days since we last ate the electric eel. The egg is recording time on its stick. There are only 3 days left. I started dreaming about coming home. How will you be fed? Slippers also believe that you and EG, the 2 most likely to win. And boarding school. But I'm still a little worried. Will the Kier group of 6 be able to reach the evacuation point? Not because of this game. Only the strong can win. Party of 6 people. He was out in the woods looking for food. They found a stingray again. When crashing a slip, Lava hit another shot and still missed, compared to Jeff's ability to hunt. From the age of 6, I had to take medication. It's a huge difference. Too angry to throw the tree. 2 monkeys on the tree. Because I can't see the fish. And piss straight down on your head. I started to feel dizzy. I'm obviously hungry for my eyes. Now I'm beginning to doubt. I don't know if I can make it to the evacuation point. Jeff and EG are also hunting in the forest. He didn't stop treatment until he was 50. They found a stingray in the water. The stingray was unlucky this time. The rep only needs 1 hit. EG finally. I have been eating fish as I have wanted for so long. On the way back. They're walking past the camp of 6 people. Jeff didn't split the fish this time. The group of 6, your face starts to change as always. Jeff has shared food many times, in medical records. The Kier team also sent back some lizards. But now it's time to be strong. On the 38th day last night, you ate all the fish. This morning full of energy. They both took the map of Ra and started studying the route. To get to the evacuation point, they need to cross 8 kilometers of forest roads. The first is swimming through the Piranha Lake, then through the jungle. We finally crossed the Orinoco River. It says you have sleepwalking depression. It's a long way to go. It is estimated that it will take 2 days to complete. Both decided to leave as soon as possible. Both are worried about the group. 6 people will slow them down. After the discussion, they agreed to make a decision not to follow them. Right now, the 6-person team is also working on an evacuation roadmap. Now EG and Jeff are coming. The sentence makes the 2 women afraid of reappearing. Slippers tell people about their decisions. From the beginning they were a team of 2. So they also want to end the challenge with just 2 people. I'm not leaving with a group of 6. Jeff and EG got up and left, leaving the whole group with a broken face. Right after that, the group of 6 started complaining again. Chris said the first feeling when he heard them, you know they don't want to be left with the weak. Alana is already pissed off. That's it. On the way back, old people guess what they're going to say behind their backs. EG softly let out a sentence like distilled water. Lions don't care about sheep. I'm going back to Diary Vi at night. I miss my wife full of emotion. Every word is sincere and warm. At the right time. Chris suddenly yelled out in a diary. Now I'm even more cautious. It's not a novel. You're obviously still angry about the morning. Egg quickly turns off the camera. And go to sleep, leave it alone. Time to day 39, 5 a.m. The Egg and Slippers were quietly preparing to leave, when the whole group of 6 is still asleep. The 2 quickly reach the lake. The distance to the other shore is 450 meters. At first she was afraid of snakes and jaguars. Both step into the water and start swimming, with full fitness. They have no trouble swimming across the shore, and complete the first stage. Now they need to walk another 6 kilometers through the forest. Party of 6 people. They are also preparing to leave. Lavra looked at the camp of slippers. I see only empty ground. Eva said it didn't matter. I'm more afraid of slugs now. Forget about them and focus on your work. By 8 a.m., 6 people had arrived at the lake. Chris is worried about people's fitness. I'm afraid if something happens in the middle, you'll be pulled down during the rescue. People try their best to swim forward. Suddenly there was a strong shot of water. It could be a crocodile or a blanket. The whole group was so scared that they swam to the shore very quickly. It just seems like a little bit of motivation. Daniel caught a cold at night and developed a fever. People swim as fast as Olympic athletes. Now they also have to walk 6 kilometers through the forest. On the way, AG and Jeff found some cacti. Take it and continue the journey. They both finally reached the river. But the river here is awfully wide. They decided to build a sturdy raft to climb over. At the same time, 6 people arrived at the river. I saw EG and Jeff making friends. Tired body, stunned mind. But no AI actively greets anything. It's just Eva running up to me, wanting to say a few words to Jeff. She said she always saw Jeff as her brother. So when you go alone to complete the challenge, you were so sad. In the previous 21-day challenge, you and I have been together. I've had enough of a challenge and I'm deeply engaged, sharing fish food before Kier because Eva was there. I really don't understand. I see my partner in pain. Because Saukir group is sad and upset. You and EG. Deciding to go it alone is a personal choice. Neither of you despises or belittles anyone. The group of 6 also started making rafts. They just tied sticks together in a very simple way. Chris enlisted scientific explanations. This is called a raft, not a raft. Which means that everybody's got their hands on it. And swim through. Students shelved the camp. The girls went into the water to try it. And it really is. EG stood nearby and laughed. You're lying. You knew the Titanic was going to sink, and you bought a ticket. Lavra and a few others went to find more trees. They found a little crocodile. After the impressive finning coordination, Lavra caught the crocodile. After handling the crocodile meat, decided to find some fruit for Daniel to eat. Finally, right before the finish line, everyone gets to eat a big meal. Chris asked if we should split the group, EG and Rep otherwise Alana. Object immediately. But Eve was determined to share. Eve brought the meat to them. This action makes EG and Sandals very emotional. The slippers said it was a very nice gesture. Especially on the last night. First time climbing a tree. I'm really grateful, I'm so touched. The 40th day has arrived. A group of 6 people grabbing a craft raft and start crossing the river. EG and Rep also began to raft across the river. When a group of 6 swam halfway through, again, there's another big blob on the water. What this time is unknown. But the girls were screaming in a panic. It turned out to be a group of river dolphins. I fell down, but fortunately I didn't. Fortunately, it's not crocodiles or water blankets. Behind the howl. The whole group of 6 immediately sped up and reached the finish line, first on the shore of success. Right now EG and Jeff's still climbing. In the midst of the fast-flowing water, speed obviously can't catch up with the Kier group. But after a lot of hard work, they finally made it to shore. The second time I climbed, I fell again. Complete the 40-day survival challenge. During these 40 days, everyone's lost at least 15 kilos. Some people lost up to 33 kilograms with only skin and bones. Ultimate survival score for Ag Team. And Rep scored 8 points for points. Group of 6 people scored 8 B8 points. So that's the first season of the survival challenge. 40 days have closed. See you in the next section. Analysis and BAI C communication. See 40 days without food. I don't stop motivating myself. No clean water, not safe. But the scariest thing is not nature. It's human. The 40-day survival challenge, it's not just a risky game. It's a small-scale social experiment, where every dark and bright side of human nature comes to light, when it's stripped of all its civilization. Once the instinct of moral confrontation. God, please God. Under normal conditions. It's easy to talk about morality, altruism, and kindness. But when you're put in a situation of lack of food, lack of sleep, contradiction, the primal survival instinct will gradually overwhelm reason. The story of a slug who experienced always working for the collective. It's considered a suspected slow bomb. To be ironic, I'm not afraid of getting hurt. And eventually pushed out of the collective domain. It shows a bitter truth. The effort is not understood. Sometimes it's more painful than 7 defeats, to collaborations, or a breakup. The choice between altruism and selfishness. Many of the early teams had a solid start. But it's the internal conflict, envy and habits of extrusion push responsibility, push them to the brink of collapse. The heartless words. You're not doing this for yourself. Sharp eyes and acts of destruction. Like throwing a knife. Hide stuff. It's what destroys faster, either hunger or extreme climate. Challenge in the jungle. Become metaphorical in the workplace, society and family. Where there's no mutual respect, then even a strong team will crumble. Finish the third time. Laziness and mental parasitism. The main theme throughout the program is, if you don't want to eat, eat CT. Sentence. That seems rude. But it's a wake-up message about the subsistence lifestyle. Common in every community. Many people choose to stay long. The justification for saving muscle. But they rely on the efforts of others. I finally climbed to success. Society does not eliminate the weak, but will reject people who don't try. For psychologically isolated when you're seen as a problem. Many characters like Honora, Danny, or Sen. They're not weak in skill. They lost because they were mislabeled, or simply don't fit in. They're vivid examples of the phenomenon of underground boycotts in modern society. When the difference is seen as a danger. And pick some fruit. THAI for what should be understood and accepted. Kindness should have limits. 2 strong teams used to share eel meat, divided fish, divided water, but kindness doesn't come with rules. Has led to the abuse of kindness. Where some people eat without doing. Received without thanks. This is a reminder that kindness needs respect. Otherwise it's going to be stupidity. Choosing teammates more carefully, choosing skills. But this climb also made me very tired. It's not the best AI that's the best fit. In my life, choose someone who can share. Understand and respect each other too. Never let yourself become a public charge. No skills, no sow. But not having a work ethic is the end of BA. Mental isolation is more dangerous than hunger. Humans are social creatures. If removed from the group, though, the spirit dies before the body. 4. Learn to survive with inner strength. Without illusions. Successful people in the program. A man of few words. Many actions. To learn. And don't whine for years if you don't want to be rejected. Take action. The world out there is a modern jungle. Alana just stood by and watched with cold eyes. Maybe you don't need to fish. But you have to take responsibility for yourself, for my life. The 40-day survival challenge. It's not a contest. It's a mirror of human nature. The mirror reflects the dark sides we often hide. In this world, the survivor is not the strongest. It's someone who understands their own limitations. She thinks that the slugs are just coloring themselves. Get over it. And never forget to live is to live together. Daniel is even colder. You didn't thank me. I told him to eat it a few days later. Lotus felt very angry but did not know what to say. Alana said Lotus must be trying to prove something. Maybe because I'm with 2 women. So I want to show a little. But he certainly has his own agenda. Somewhere else in the 2-man, 1-woman team. Honora's chopping palm cores to make food for the team. Chris came up with the knife and said to cut it like this. But Chris's help didn't make Honora happy. The opposite. You feel like you're showing off your survival skills. Chris said to be tight. It doesn't spoil the edible part. Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hakeem's health condition. The male team is getting worse. My whole body started twitching, after 4 days without a drop of water or food. I was in tears. It's time to make a decision. You finally chose to retreat. Be the first of 12 players to quit. On the 4th day, the team lost a man. However, Hakim's ability was still recognized by his teammates, and so he retreated in regret. Time to Saturday. Team to male and female spotted a fruit tree in the forest. But the towering tree. To male members think it's too dangerous not to climb. But Honora believes she can climb. Chris and I didn't support that idea. From the first day, Honora felt she was being cast out. Any of your ideas will be rejected. 3 people continue to walk along the 1.5 kilometers exploration stream. The result is still empty-handed. The fruit is at the top of the tree. And animals on the ground are very difficult to catch. This trip is exhausting for nothing. Honora is also severely exhausted. Back team 1 male to female of slugs. Alana has a big discovery. A large turtle that weighs about 5 to 6 kilos. This is the biggest meal from the beginning of the show. Until now. Alana brought the turtle to run and was praised. But you don't want to eat it, you want to let it go. I don't understand. That's enough for the whole team to eat. But Alana's attitude was determined to let go. Unwilling to go back to work, Alana put the turtle down with a smile. Then come back and lie down and rest. Don't forget to stand in front of the camera. That's not what his true character is. The true nature of slugs is. Who doesn't? In my opinion, I live on my own. There's a female team with a family. Lost in the forest for 7 days. Finally reunited with his team. 3 people take a bath to avoid the heat. Tell us what happened in the last few days. And team to male 1 female. Chris and I made a simple hook. To catch fish but still failed. Honora doesn't listen to advice. I decided to climb up the tree and get the fruit to prove myself. She picked the fruit and brought it back to camp to share with her teammates. Chris finished eating and immediately sprayed out. You said it was horrible. Plus the last time I complained, when cutting the palm tree's core. It makes Honora even more angry. She felt isolated and untrusted. When you sit by the river fishing, you have to look at it. Honora pissed off. You two have different views. The conflict is getting deeper. The men after losing one. The road ahead is blocked by a wall of thorns. They desperately need to find water. Kim had to give up because she was dehydrated. It's still in front of you. So people holding to knives start paving the way between the walls. Guy. Plants with thorns that make them suffer. Scratches caused by pricking spines are at risk of festering infection, but they both didn't give up. Remain resilient to fight. Cut the tree for 6 hours. We finally opened a path and found a small creek. Sandal's so happy the spirit is greatly enhanced. The two will stay together until the 40th day. After drinking enough water, they start looking for food. These days they only eat cactus. Soon they found a small snake. This makes them both happy to have caught gold. Unfortunately, I missed it. Try using the hook to fish again. With his high skills. After a while, a large fish was hauled ashore. You two are not happy. I don't have to go to bed hungry anymore. The women were hungry for almost 7 days. Started taking advantage of Jenny's mosquito nets today, making a net to catch fish. Soon they caught for fish. BA girls' survival skills are really proficient. Just a few moves ignited the fire. And put the fish on the rocks to bake. 3 people share one each. Enjoy with an interesting look. These are the first pieces of protein in days. Time passed until the 9th day, not eating enough all the time. Hondora's body began to wither. She met to Men and Chris. And expressed an intention to give up. As a team. I hope you do the best you can. Hold on a little longer. Honora is lying on the ground. You think you've been treated unfairly these past few days. Opinions are not listened to. The effort is not recorded. The whole group exploded into a heated argument. Chris said you've been moping for an hour. I thought Chris was screaming at me. Chris said he was just trying to talk. If you're going to give up, speak up. Angry. Honora claims to burn all the gear. But it was time to stop. However, Honora stood up and picked up Chris's knife. She quickly ran out of the stream, thrown into the water, without any hesitation. After throwing it away, she said you to take care of yourselves. Chris said you don't look like an exhausted person. At all. I was so angry that I jumped into the water to get my tools back. I'm still trying to calm Honora down. I tried to explain. But Honora still won't give in. And Laura's team has a new discovery. You caught a little lizard. 3 people have a little extra calories for energy. Back to the 2-woman, 1-man team of slugs. Slugs are making arrows. I'm going hunting to make up for the last 7 defeats. You're an archer. With a sports bow. You can hit any target. But with a simple homemade bow like this, I feel a little less confident. The group sets out to find their prey. Not long after, they found a guinea pig eating grass. At the moment of decision, the shooting disaster happened. 7 failures that cannot be saved. 3 shots of slugs immediately made me a little disappointed. Who has an archery license? And once hunted deer with a bow. I can't accept inaccuracy of this rudimentary bow. While Honora starts messing around again. Even though I decided to give up, but you still want to let go of this anger. You just took your big iron cup and ran. As fast as lightning. She threw it in the water. Even though I'm exhausted. But in the act of revenge, you've unleashed incredible power. Theo, what the hell are you doing? Corona said she worked very hard. You did your best to help the group, getting ready to go back into the water. The Anarata is faster. You jump into the water, sink the cup and hide it. Chris went down to find the knife. And then Honora stood on the shore and said, "Hey, that's my knife." Chris said you found it in the stream. It's yours now. Chris said you can't talk. I can't stand it in the end. The extreme action of. Honora, you said you were a victim. I can't take it anymore. I'm running out of patience. Or throw everything in the stream. There's no other way, Sal. People always try to stay calm. Now also completely collapsed. No matter what the team does wrong. That's no reason to Honora. Destroy all survival equipment. She's always portraying herself as a victim of protest. But really, you also have a big responsibility. Time to day 10. Team situation to male 1 female of the time. The conflict has reached a point where it cannot be resolved. All the furniture has been thrown away by Honora, Moment and Chris extremely 7 hope. Honora is about to officially withdraw. Just let one go home. I can see the cold attitude of my teammates. Honora started crying again. You said you were always smiling. Always laugh with them. You did your best to help. They don't see you as a partner. And so Honora officially gave up on day 10. She has always stressed that she was forced. Have to leave the game. You feel compelled to give up. They're cornered by those people. Honora left. Finally helped and Chris breathed a sigh of relief. Now they both have to continue to face challenges. Front. We've been on the men's team for 3 days and we haven't eaten. EG and Rep are in desperate need of a big meal to recharge the power. The egg goes into the forest looking for food. I saw a mouse and threw a straight knife, but unfortunately missed. The slipper is still fishing by the stream. But they didn't harvest anything. I remember the 21-day challenge. Once caught a very large python. It's a memorable memory. But this time the animals seem to have evaporated from the area. You're back empty-handed. Another hungry night. Suddenly, I was walking and saw a turtle. Appeared in front of. Dog yawning at flies makes both emotions explode. Last time Alana picked up Chong the same turtle. Maybe the director dropped in to create a situation. Not you guys. The 2 men who found the turtle rejoiced as if they had caught gold. Excited to immediately bring the turtle back to camp. Be careful, make it a cage. Then we both go get water. I'm going to cook turtles for dinner. Before they left, they put some big trees on top of the barn. I thought this time it was a close call. I can't run anymore. But when you get the water back, they found the turtle was gone. This makes you look everywhere in a panic. But it's dark as ink. Can't find it. They both wanted to cry on the spot. E.g. draw the blood bone lesson. You two were too subjectively arrogant. For food, there must be gratitude and respect. Now the food that comes to the mouth is missing. This is a tearful lesson. Back to the two-woman, one-man team of slugs. The two girls continue their strategy, lying motionless, saving calories, while slugs still work diligently as every day. I'm going to climb a tree to pick mangoes. After a struggle, climb up the hard way. You brought back for mangoes. I suggest you get some more water. But Alana replied, there's still water in 8, you can drink first. You don't have to go that far. The slug began to see to companions too lazy. Too lazy to accept. I turned to cut down the tree. Just doing and thinking. And suddenly understood the reason. Last time Alana won the challenge. She let her teammates work to exhaustion, give up. I lay down until the end. This time I decided not to continue, spoiled again. I know that indulgence will create ungrateful people. It's time to get up and do it. Teamed a male, one female of the moment. Became all male after Honora gave up. Both performed the task. Salvaged the tool that Honora threw away. Chris had been underwater for hours. I finally recovered Luke's water bottle. Coconuts were able to boil water to drink. I also found the small knife. The big knife was taken away by Honora when he left the team. The last item is the coil. Chris's words are still stuck. Because no one knew where Honora was going, they gave up. There are only 2 people left in the team now. The air also becomes more harmonious. Food is becoming more abundant. Even though I lost a few tools. But 2 brothers. I feel quite satisfied with the current situation. Day 12 on the women's team. Donnie feels like an extra person. You are the one who is late. I joined the team on Saturday. Lavra and Eva are like shadows. Everything we do, we get water, we take each other, and Donnie's always been excluded. She decided to find food alone. You're going west across the prairie. In the middle of the road, you smell smoke. Curious to follow to see what happened. And yes, this is Luke and Chris's camp. The 2 guys were happily eating wild nuts. But Jenny didn't want to go too fast. Should hide in the bushes. She noticed that the food in this camp was plentiful. On high alert. I finally found out that Donnie was hiding. But you're not upset. On the contrary, it is very welcoming. The opening was a warm hug. Then they took Danny to visit their large swimming pool. The atmosphere here is harmonious and friendly. Danny could feel the difference. The 2 brothers also invited Jenny to have lunch together. When I left, Honora brought a big knife. Donnie was carrying a knife at the right time. When asked to borrow temporarily, they cut down a fruit tree with a knife. A lot of ripe fruit. I see this place is full of food. Donnie asked, if you're willing, I've got 2 more on my team. Can you join us? Chris didn't answer right away. Just let you go and we LL talk more. After seeing off Donnie, the 2 began to exchange ideas. You've got a very good impression of Donnie. You are seriously working hard. But if you're alone, Jenny's totally supportive of joining. And if all 3 of you come in, you're kind of reluctant. Lavra and Eva are busy fishing. They were upset that Danny had suddenly disappeared all day, that you're not involved in team building. Don't contribute anything, just behave differently. Donnie just got back. She recounted the trip. She went to another camp where there were only 2 men. Where there's a tremendous amount of food. Both teams are amazing to hear. But suddenly joining another team makes them a little nervous. Fear of rejection. Meant to all be together to catch fish stream, but after a while, he returned empty-handed. When there is a way back, they gave up fishing and decided to find a new team. Back to the men's team. The turtle escaped. It was a very heavy blow. Into this empty kitchen. Slippers have to try to swallow a winged insect. There are only 2 locusts left in the pot. Both decided to hold an emergency meeting. and make a decision to move. Back to the group of slugs. I suggest you put some traps around the camp to catch the animals, but Alana said she finished the whole camp. When the slug heard it, he turned his back. Two girls thought you were crazy. In fact, the slug is upset that no matter what the proposal is, you're either vetoed or ridiculed. I decided how the camp would survive on its own. I found a place about 400 meters from the main camp, and start building new shelters. Use a rope between two trees. I made a simple hammock. Try to lie down and feel good. After a busy morning, he returned to his old camp, but I'm not going to say anything about the new place. When Daniel asked me where I'd been, I said, let's go out to work, take a walk by the stream. And Alana's turning right into the lens. She thinks that oblique is the destabilizing factor of your team. It's another obstacle to overcome in the challenge. Survival. Time to day 15. The slug's own camp is about to be completed, and the contradictions piled up over the last few days. It also exploded at this time. After a heated argument, I definitely left the camp. Alana is sarcastic. Good luck, slug. Slugs carry a choking anger in their heart. You have to live better than the other two. By day 17, there were 10 survivors. After the car leaves, the two girls started actively looking for food. They wanted to prove they don't need to rely on AI. Alana felt that it was good for her to leave. They knit a fishing basket together. Very fast, Alana caught a fish, run and enjoy a protein meal. On this side, the slugs have finished their camp. I'm eager to prove myself. He scoured the forest for prey. Suddenly I saw a guinea pig. Quick handle spears but slip. Since being assigned to this group, I haven't been lucky once. I decided to take a risk at night. It's based on the faint light of the infrared camera. I can't see very well. I try to crawl in the dark. The result was that I almost stepped on a hunting snake. I panicked and hurried back. He couldn't catch anything and went back empty-handed. Move the scene to Jeff and EG's men's team. They both decided to move camp. They checked the map. I had to cross the wild plains. It takes more than 20 kilometers to get to Piranha Lake on the map, but in a 38-degree sun. The journey was not pleasant. But no matter how hard it is, we can't stop them either. Before leaving, the slippers prayed. I hope there will be plenty of food. Both knit a wicker. Bring it all. What's left are the cactus. And the journey begins. Move to the camp. Since Honora left, the two brothers' lives are getting easier. They're out looking for food today. Discovered a mango tree. Chris climbed up the tree and picked a lot, but also bitten by ants. Watching the mangoes that brought back all their troubles fly away. Just ate a sweet mango while smiling proudly. Now they have enough mango, grouper, palm core. Chris said your team is the richest team in the jungle. He switched to the women's team. BA girls today. Get ready to join up for your team and Chris. Everyone has a lot of expectations. I hope this will be a big step in the journey. 3 people had to walk 5 kilometers to get to their camp. On the way, Danny said, there was a lot of food there a few days ago. This is like adding motivation. All 3 are speeding up at the same time. Chris and I were having a good conversation. He was a yoga master. I suggest you both practice together. But Chris felt it. The Tatran men are practicing yoga together. It's a bit strange. The women arrived at the camp. Lavra immediately saw the huge pile of food. Her eyes glowed with admiration. Chris is still very attractive. Take the girls on a tour of their large swimming pool. It's the only entertainment we're proud of. Everyone soaks in the water to cool off. Lavra was the first to express her intentions. They came mainly to find some fruit. The 2 men immediately agreed to say no problem. We eat a lot of food. Chris bragged that they were the greenery giants. Turn to the camera and say, I worry about not having enough food. Divide food into 5 parts. Until noon. 2 boys bring mango to entertain the girls. At first I was afraid of rejection. But now you're finally at peace. They are really welcomed. Eva said this meant a lot to her. These guys' food is a lot of stuff. And there's no reason for them to share it with us. But you don't have to come to eat. They immediately showed off their skills. Use mosquito nets to catch fish. Just for a moment. They caught 6 fish and roasted them all. You're also sharing the grilled fish for 2 guys. I just ate some fish and Chris choked. It was the first time in 17 days that they had eaten protein. Chris immediately agreed to let you join the group. You named the new team. From the fraternity team to the young men's and women's team. Time to day 19. I have lived alone for days. I still try to work hard to find food. I'm going fishing today, but I don't have the tools. Just look at the fish and sigh. You're anemic. So even though there's a lot of fruit around, but you still need protein. Your skill is hunting. But now I have no tools in my hands. There's only one knife. Finally, he decided to borrow Alana's lighter. But the air is so humid. I tried several times and still didn't ignite the fire. You start to hesitate. Alone may not be able to overcome this challenge. I decided to talk to 2 girls. Want to cooperate again? I want to work with you 2 again. I just asked them to take care of the remaining 8 fish. As a result, Alana protested immediately. You said you could borrow a lighter. Cooperation is not necessary. Son 7 hoped to leave in the heart, extremely hurt. I don't like being seen as an asshole. You always give it all. What you have without getting anything back. I always try my best, I never give up. No personal feelings. I just hope people can understand. And cherish that. A sloping screen of confessions. It makes everyone hear it too. It's raining so hard tonight, there's no fire. Standing alone in the rain, shivering with cold. You just have to keep moving to keep your body warm. Meanwhile, Alana and Daniel sat in the same shack that built. There was a warm fire and a conversation. You both said you don't need Shin anymore, and you're on the men's team. Egg and Jack walked for 6 hours. Walking barefoot on rabbit pasture is torture. It's like stepping on a razor. The water is almost dry and it's getting dark. You both need to find a place to camp for the night. Fortunately, before dark, they discovered a cave. I decided to sleep here one night. Tomorrow we'll continue the journey. The people start a fire to chase them down in the cave. I'm also tired of ears. I finally put up with sleeping. The next morning, eat some cactus for hunger relief. Then we're on our way, and over there the slug had been in the rain all night, freezing and shivering. Morning raw hela body raw step sun exposure. Just came out of the forest. I caught 2 guys in slippers and EG marching. Both sides salute each other. Maybe meet other teams. Everyone feels happy. Slugs ask if you have no other teammates, Sao. The slug then tells the story about how he left the team. And because Sao now roams alone. LG and Rep are unclear, so no further comment. The slugs led them to the water. The 2 gods saw the water and jumped down to play. They're going to Piranha Lake. Places marked on the map. C immediately expressed his wish to join their group. This makes EG and Rep a little hesitant. I don't know what to answer. That's when Alana and Daniel showed up. The 2 happily waved hello to everyone. The mountain stood in a corner without saying a word. I also saw something in the atmosphere. Sigh. You said when Daniel and Alana came. The sky also pulls dark clouds. Egging me from the beginning. Never caused trouble or got involved in anything. So I don't want to be in this situation. Time to day 22. It started out as for teams, and now it's 3 teams. Team of 2 women and 1 male of the oblique. Disintegrate the skewers. To be estranged. Slug is looking to join Jeff and EG's team. EG and Jeff are still discussing what to do. Should we get more new people in? EG said Sen is a hard worker. There will be no problem participating. The rep thinks. The slug was turned away by his former comrade. It's not really his fault. In the end, you're going to make a decision. Before leaving, Rep teaches 2 girls how to fish. Daniel finished learning the sentences immediately. She's a vegetarian. She gave all the fish to Jeff and EG. EG and Jeff say to themselves for the next 20 days, to the Piranha Lake can catch a lot of fish. The students are also excited to talk. You can also fish with a bow and arrow. They will catch more fish. But the words aren't finished yet. Alana immediately poured cold water. If the fish are very small. The group fell silent. The slug said nothing, got up, and left. Any of the slug's ideas were rejected by Alana, and it's not the first time. E.G. saw that to ask the slug situation. Say it every time you say something. Alana also objected. It's been that way since day one. E.G. said he understood the feeling. Seeing the isolated slug, E.G. decides to stand on his side. I promised the Lotus that I'll take him with me when the time comes. Then Egg informed the two girls. They'll take the Lotus with them tomorrow. The two of you said you didn't want to leave. Daniel's only vegetarian. This place has a lot of fruit, so it is better to stay. To the night, the southern team talked about the new journey. All three were extremely excited about the new destination. The most excited person is the slug. You can finally leave this sad place, in the new land. It will allow you to show your talent. And Alana still doesn't appreciate the slug. You think slugs will cause trouble for the men's team. The next morning, 3 people were about to leave. The rest is 11 kilometers long. They chose the shortest route, but also the sunniest path. 01 shade. The temperature has now reached 40 degrees Celsius. In such harsh conditions. Not to mention the destination. Just to get there, it was a big question mark. On the new team, 3 women joined at the same time, and Chris formed a team of 5. In the first few days, everyone feels good when they eat fruit. But eat all the unripe mangoes. They're also starting to get their mouth shut. People have even had mouth sores. Chris said he didn't want to eat mangoes anymore. I have to go fishing. The old way is to get mosquito nets to catch fish in the water. But the amount of food we're getting is too small. 5 people just looked at each other and couldn't get enough to eat. Finally, the group agreed, decided to move to a new place. 5 people took the map. The goal is Piranha Lake, the final destination. There's water near the evacuation point. The meeting is over. They cut the remaining mango into thin slices. Finish drying as a reserve. Start preparing for the migration journey. The 40-day challenge is halfway through. Now is the time to use the remaining power to move forward. Depart as soon as possible if you want to live to 40. The only way is across the meadow. 12 noon. Nam EG Rep Sun team is still moving. The sun is like a fire, and the stones are burning. Even if the wind blows, it's a hot air. In an environment like a giant autoclave, we walked for 7 hours. Finally, after crossing a forest, they also went to Piranha Lake. Here you can find electric crocodile eels, piranha tiger fish. It's dangerous, but it's also an opportunity. This is where they're going to be until day 40. We'll be very grateful to be here with my new teammates. I cried with excitement. At night, 3 brothers sitting around a fire dreaming about the future. Imagine how to catch prey. You can hunt what you eat. Survive and come out as a king. But in fact, it's surrounded by wild animals screaming. They're all holding weapons right next to them. In case a 4-legged neighbor comes over at midnight. Time to day 24. The A-team have to mail carry dried mango and equipped. Start the journey across the steppe 9 kilometers. At the same time by Piranha Lake. The South Vietnamese team set up camp there. At this time, all BA need food to replenish their fitness. EG is in charge of the kettle. Go fishing snails are knitting fishing baskets with Leo rope. Suddenly the slippers screamed. I found a giant electric eel. Egg immediately carried the Lao Lao tree to the hospital. But in the face of an electric eel, can discharge output current 600 volts. People are afraid to touch their hands first. The last rep was the one who came out. A stab straight down, pinning the eel into the mud. When the eel fires its final charge, I quickly returned to the shore. EG tried to kill him with a knife. But we haven't done it yet. It was thrown out like a kite. He was cut off by a 600 volts current flowing through his body. Put the knife back together. Help with a full swing like cutting wood. The results are so startled that the entire body twitches. The birth had just come. You said you used to be an electrician. Experience being electrocuted. I don't want to lose this meal. Give it 2 shots like sliced meat. The eel you cut in half on the spot, although the eel was sliced into. But the body keeps firing. EG had to pick it up with a stick. All 3 can eat a hearty meal. On my first day here, it's a happy thing. Transplant Relentless praise Slugs for the help. Now you officially recognize it. Slug is a useful member. In the meantime, Team Daniel and Alana, they are also preparing to move the camp. They cut dried fruit for food on the road. They even had a little celebration because the slugs had moved away, that there's no more feeling of stress and pressure. Alana said she just wanted to get through there and do nothing wrong, and then we broke the team. Back to Group 5B, female to male. They're still walking under the scorching sun. They're 5 kilometers away, they're still halfway. And the BA South team is dealing with the electric eel. Slugs tears gushing out from the corners of their mouths. 20 days. I've never tasted any protein. I finally got a decent meal today. The eel meat is cleaned and baked on the fire. They all say electric shocks today. It's also worth it. The meat is just ripe, just in time for the group to eat. The women's team has just arrived. That's right, find it, find it. Everyone greeted each other very friendly. But the eyes of the BA women's 2 men's team doesn't leave the grilled electric eels. Jeff's men's BA team finally agreed. I decided to invite them to a meal. I hope this action can bring some peace. I hope we can get help from each other in return. Thought this meal was just in time, just make up for the hard journey. I think if the 2 teams put together, the greater the strength of each side. They finally said they wanted to catch electric eels. There's a bit of concern here, because I don't want to catch anything every time. There are people waiting for blood. And part. You have to make rules that the whole team agrees on. That night, there's a big cat that's smelling like barbecue. The entire team is immediately on defense. Keep the rest of the meat safe. It's dawn on the 24th. Daniel and Alana are getting ready to go. They're going to Piranha Lake 11 kilometers away. Bring food. Do people take advantage of the cool night sky to go? 25th day. The male team was harassed by a big cat all night. No one can sleep well. Early in the morning they found large footprints. It's less than a meter from camp. Fortunately it works. Everyone thinks this place is dangerous. It's only 180 meters from the men's camp. Bot team to men are sitting in the middle of the prairie. Just chewed some dried mango pieces. I still remember the taste of last night's barbecue. Eva still hopes to pull 3 men on the men's team. Join their team. We can go hunting and share food. They also have to find food today. Watched over 20 days ago. Always had to work alone. Now my body feels so exhausted. But you chose to stay and help the team. Now drinking water is their biggest problem. Because water has to be boiled to drink, but a small iron pot doesn't meet the needs. The only way to do that is to keep the fire going. Lavra and the others had just arrived. Asked Jeff to explore the area. By the time they got back, the water had boiled and cooled. Gone. If you don't go, you stay in the camp. The rep said you don't hate them. But I was a little embarrassed after that. I'm still more comfortable with just you and EG, and slugs only. They asked them to set up camp next to their own, so you don't have to live apart anymore. While at the lake, Chris discovered an electric eel. The rep said if you find out, catch it yourself. I also want to eat a ready meal. See if they can share. Team BA women to men total out.